Assumptions for t-test. Today we're going to look at one sample t-test, two independent sample t-tests, and a dependent sample t-test. For each of the three t-tests, we're going to answer these four questions. When would you use this test? What research questions are you answering? What are the assumptions for that particular t-test? And how would you know that those assumptions are met? Let's start with a one sample t-test. And the situation that you're looking at here is you're trying to compare information about your sample to a population or to a norm group. Let's say that you have IQ scores for students or reading test scores for students, and you want to know, is my group similar to the population, or is it different? So we would make our comparison to that population or that norm group, depending upon the information that you have. And the question that you're answering, I've already given you, is how does my sample compare with the population? Is it similar? Is it different? Now, in order to make a valid comparison, you need to satisfy some assumptions. For the one sample t-test, it's independent observations, a normal distribution. So how do I know that I meet these assumptions? Well, you have independent observations if each person has been tested individually, or the information about each individual has been obtained independently and no collaboration, then you would have independent observations. As for normal distribution, how would you know? Well, if you're dealing with something like IQ scores, or you have a standardized test that you obtain the reading test scores for, then you know it's normally distributed. If not, if you're dealing with a teacher-made test, then you have to be concerned that you would have a normal distribution. The standardized measures force a normal distribution on the test scores, so therefore there is no issue. The only way that you will know that you have met that assumption if you use a teacher-made test or some other instrument is if the sample size is large enough. Then the assumption of normality will be met. How do you know the sample size is large enough? Well, that's where the central limit theorem comes to your assistance. Central limit theorem says no matter what the underlying distribution, the sampling distribution for the statistic mean is going to be normally distributed if you have a large sample size. Large for us is usually 30.